Parents, let me ask you this. If your child disappeared tomorrow, what would you regret more? That they didn't get an A, or that you never asked how they were really doing? When was the last time you sat down, looked your child in the eye, and asked, "Are you happy? Are you okay? Do you want to talk?" For many of us, the question we ask most often is very different. It sounds like this: how many points did you get on the test? And tonight, I want to share with you a story that might change the way you see your child forever. A mother came home after work. She looked at her daughter and asked the same question she always asked after exams. "Honey, how many points did you get this time?" The daughter looked up. Her eyes weren't angry, they weren't sad, but they carried something heavy. She said softly, "Mom, why have I never once heard you ask me, 'What do you want to eat?' Or, 'Are you thirsty? Why is my grade the only thing that matters?'" Silence. The mother froze. The daughter continued, "Do you remember when you were pregnant with me, what you and Dad wished for?" The mother thought back. She whispered, "We just wished you'd be healthy, normal, nothing else." The daughter's voice trembled. "Then please, Mom, don't forget that. Today I didn't do well, but does that mean I'm a failure? Does that erase everything else I am?" She paused. Then she said something that hit like lightning. "Mom, imagine this. You put a monkey, a goldfish, and an eagle in front of a tree. The test is, who can climb it fastest? The monkey wins, of course. The eagle looks clumsy because climbing is not its gift. And the fish, no matter how hard it tries, it will fail. But does that mean the eagle is useless? Does that mean the goldfish is stupid? Or does it mean the test was unfair in the first place?" The mother's chest tightened, because in that moment, she realized something. Her daughter wasn't lazy, she wasn't rebellious, she wasn't broken. She was simply a child being judged by the wrong standard. Parents, let me be clear. When your child comes home with a low grade, it's not just ink on paper. It's not just numbers circled in red. It's a silent message that says, "I tried, but it wasn't enough. Will you still love me? Will you still see me?" And when all we respond with is, "Why didn't you get an A? Why didn't you study harder?" we aren't teaching discipline, we're teaching fear. Fear that love is conditional. Fear that worth equals performance. Fear that one mistake means disappointment. Let me tell you something I once heard from a teacher. She said, "Every year, I meet students who hide their report cards. Not because they're lazy, but because they're terrified. Terrified that the number on the paper will decide how much love they receive that week." Think about that, parents. Your child shouldn't be hiding papers like they're hiding crimes. No child should ever feel that a grade is dangerous. So let me ask you something, parents. If your child failed every single test from now until the end of the year, would you still love them the same? Or would your love shrink with every grade? That's the moment every parent needs to face. Because if your love is tied to numbers, then it's not love. It's a contract, and no child can thrive under a contract. I once spoke with a father. He said, "Every time I take away my daughter's phone because she didn't study, she explodes, she screams, she slams the door." I asked him, "And after you take the phone away, what do you give her instead?" He stopped, looked down, whispered, "Nothing." And I realized he wasn't just taking away a device. He was taking away her safe place without offering his arms to replace it. Parents, listen carefully. When we take something away but give nothing in return, we don't teach responsibility. We teach loneliness. Let me ask another hard question. Do you remember the first time your child saw disappointment in your eyes? Because they do. I once met a young man, 25 years old. He told me, "When I was 10, I brought home a report card with a C. My dad didn't yell, he didn't hit me, he just didn't talk to me for 3 days. Do you know what that silence felt like? Like I didn't exist, and I never forgot it." Parents, grades fade, but the memory of being unloved, that never fades. And here's another story. A mother once confessed, "My son scored low on his math test. I thought I was motivating him when I said, 'Do you want to be a loser forever?' Years later, he told me. That one sentence never left his mind. It became a wound. He studied harder, yes, but not because he loved learning. He studied because he was scared of being nothing. Parents, let me ask you this. Do you want your child to succeed because they are inspired, or because they are terrified? Because fear may push them forward for a season, but love will carry them for a lifetime. And listen, don't drown in guilt if you've done this before. Every parent has. What matters is what you do starting today. It is never too late to look your child in the eye and say, "You are worth more than grades. You are worth more than performance. You are worth everything." Here's a truth that every parent needs to hear. Your child doesn't actually want straight A's more than your love. They don't want trophies more than your attention. They don't want praise from teachers more than a hug from you. What they want is to be seen, to be understood, to feel safe. A child can survive without a perfect report card, but they cannot thrive without a parent who believes in them. And let's be honest, in the end, when our children grow up, they won't remember the grade they got in 7th grade science, but they will remember whether mom listened when they were crying. They will remember whether dad showed up to their game, or whether he stayed late at the office. Our kids are not keeping score of their GPA. They're keeping score of our presence. They're asking, "When I needed you, were you there?" Think about it. When you say, "You're always on that phone," "You never focus," "You're lazy," what they hear is, "You are a problem." And a child who feels like a problem will not run to you for comfort. They will run away, into screens, into silence, into places where they feel accepted, even if it's just inside a glowing rectangle. But let me tell you something. Your child is not a problem to fix. They are a soul to love. Let me give you another picture. Imagine you have a spoon, a fork, and a knife. The spoon says, "You're useless, fork. You can't hold soup." The fork replies, "Well, you're useless too. You can't stab a steak." And the knife laughs, "Both of you are weak. I can cut through anything." But the truth? Each one has a purpose. The spoon was made for soup. The fork was made for noodles and salad. The knife was made to cut. Now tell me, would you ever look at a spoon and say it's broken because it can't cut steak? Of course not. Then why do we do that to our children? Parents, remember this. Every child has a strength. Every child has a gift. But not every gift shows up on a report card. The artist who doodles in math class might one day paint masterpieces. The boy who talks too much in English class might one day become a lawyer who defends the innocent. The girl who can't sit still might one day lead armies, movements, companies. But only if we don't crush them first. Only if we don't convince them that they are broken, just because they don't fit into one box. So next time your child brings home a grade that disappoints you, pause. Don't let the first words out of your mouth be, "Why isn't this higher?" Instead, try, "I see you tried. I'm proud of your effort. Do you want to talk about what was hard?" Because here's the truth. When children feel safe, they try harder. When children feel loved, they rise higher. And when children feel seen, they will surprise you. Your child doesn't need a perfect parent. They need a present one. One day, your child will walk across a stage to get their diploma, or they'll step onto a bus for their first job, or they'll pack up their things and move into a dorm room hundreds of miles away. And the question is, when that day comes, will they remember you as the parent who listened or the parent who only lectured? Because one day, parents, your child will stop showing you their report card, and the reason why will depend on how you love them today. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with another parent who might need to hear it tonight. And if you believe in raising not just smarter kids, but kinder, stronger, more connected ones, hit that subscribe button, because together we can make sure no child ever feels alone when they're right there in the room with us.